So today, the reason I'm here this morning is that we all have days that feel like this. The goal for me today, like Christina said, is to give you some very easy and sometimes out of the box strategies so that you have them in your back pocket anytime you're feeling like this. You have fewer days that feel like this, but also when you have days like this, you're able to shift into a more positive mindset. So I'm going to start with all of the reasons why this is important, because we all go, yeah, well, you know, I have bad days from time to time, and so why is it really that important that I have these strategies? So shortly after the Korean War, Dr. William Meyer, who is the chief psychiatrist for the US military, was tasked with taking a look at the 1,000 POWs that had survived this particular camp. This, by the way, is a picture from that actual camp. I couldn't believe I was able to find it. So the reason he was asked to take a look at these POWs is because this camp had the highest death rate in US military history, 38%. So 38% of the POWs that were in this camp died. What confused the military, though, is that there were no forms of torture. They had adequate food and shelter. There were no barbed wires. There were no armed guards, and yet nobody tried to escape. What led to the high death rate is they had many POWs tell them that what would happen is that a POW would walk into their tent, sit down in the corner, pull a blanket over his head, and in 2 days be dead. The POWs called it give-up-itis. The official name was marasmus. So what in the world did these North Koreans do to these men to create this level of hopelessness? So it turned out they actually implemented some really simple strategies. They were masters in psychological warfare. So here they were. First strategy, they encouraged informing on each other. And the way they did that is they provided sweets or cigarettes if you informed on another POW. Nothing ever happened to the POW that was informed upon. The whole intention of the strategy was to divide the ranks and create distrust. The second strategy, which is group therapy, very perverse form of group therapy. So what they did is they got the POWs into small groups, and they met every single week, and they talked about all the bad things that they had done in their life. But then they talked about all the good things they could have done in their life and didn't. So the intention of it was extreme self-criticism, but it also was, what do you think of me now, right? When you hear about all the bad things that I've done in my life. And then the third thing was letters from home. So I didn't know this, but in POW camps, what they normally do is they allow letters from home. Normally those letters are letters of support. Honey, I miss you, hang in there, we love you, the war will soon be over. That would be sort of the typical letters that would make it through to a POW. Not in this camp. Anything that was positive was kept away. The only letters that made it from home were, Dear John, I'm leaving you, there's been a death in the family, we're bankrupt. Anything that was negative made it through, and made it through really quickly. So negativity, 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 negativity. That's what led to this level of hopelessness to the point that they died. And you're like, okay, so why are you telling me this story? We're obviously not going to be in this kind of situation. But don't think that negativity, and we all have these negative thoughts that come up in our minds, don't have an impact on us, because they do. I tried to actually capture the stuff that I hear from people and the way I feel sometimes. So like, this is so irritating. What a lousy day, right? These are typical thoughts. Turns out we have 60,000 thoughts in a day. Don't know who did the calculations, but it seems to have been verified in multiple journals. 60,000 thoughts a day. You think, okay, that's fine. Here's the bad news. 45,000 of them are negative. We have 45,000 negative thoughts in a day. and you're thinking, that is not me. I'm not a negative Nelly. I'm more positive. Well, guess what? If you start to pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day, you'll find that you do have these negative thoughts creep in. You could be standing in line at Tim Hortons like you were this morning, and you're probably thinking, aren't they ever going to give it to me, right? So we all, and me this morning with IT, I arranged this, I did this, I confirmed, why aren't they here, right? So we have these negative thoughts, but a lot of them are automatic. They're automatic negative thoughts. Dr. Daniel Amin said you need to refer to them as ants. You have these little critters that are flying through your head all the time. And this is with all of us, whether you're a positive, uplifting person or you're a negative Nelly. And he said that you need to think of them like ants at a picnic, so they can really invade your mind, right? So it turns out there's 9 different species of these little critters. We're not going to get into all 9. I don't have time this morning. We could spend a whole day on these. So the very first one, fortune telling. I've got a party Saturday night. Jane's holding the party. She is my best friend, but her friends are sort of boring. Her food is always awful because she doesn't know how to cook. So I'm already projecting that I'm going to have a terrible time Saturday night at the party. I show up. She finally has realized she is a terrible cook, and she brought in the best caterer from town. She's joined a new club, has invited all these friends over, and they're amazing. I have the best time. So we do a lot of future forecasting, right? That's often inaccurate. Mind reading. Okay, so I finished this presentation. I'm walking down the hall. Christina usually smiles at me and says hi, and she ignores me. She's looking down. She avoids my eyes, and I'm thinking, oh my God, she really hated it. She was so disappointed. She was so excited about this, and now she's really unhappy. Christina was thinking about, oh darn, I forgot to pick up chicken for dinner. What am I going to make tonight? And this is what we do. So we often think that they're thinking about us when it has absolutely nothing to do with us. We mind read and we get it incorrect. And then the third one is focusing on the negative. And we're going to do a deep dive on the focusing on the negative. So I'll just, I'll leave that one for now. But here's the problem. There's the concept of emotional contagion. So when you're in a negative state of mind, when you're in a negative place, you have to think of yourself as now having like a virus, a cold virus, and you are going to infect everybody around you. They did some research on this, and they said one negative person will lower the productivity of the entire team to the degree it's better if that person doesn't show up. That's how the impact is, and it's because of the mirror neurons in our brain. So if you're in a real negative place, even though I try not to pick up your negativity, I'll be picking it up. The other way of looking at it, I thought this was really good. Like secondhand smoke, the leakage of emotions can make a bystander an innocent casualty of someone else's toxic state. So the next time you're in that negative place, it's probably a good idea to try to shift, right? Knowing that you're going to be infecting the rest of the team. But I'm now not giving you an excuse to call Christina or whoever and go, having a bad day, don't want to lower the productivity of the entire team, so I'm just going to stay home. You're going to have the strategies in place now that can shift you really, really quickly.